Chapter 2. The New Testament Culture. The dispersion of Jews from the exile settled in and around Jerusalem when many of them were tempted to compromise their Jewish faith and way of life. At the same time, there were groups of Jews who tried and fought to keep their Jewish faith. In such a situation, the New Testament culture began, which may be called as Hellenistic Judaism. The Hebrew cultural change in the New Testament. The cultural setting in which Jesus and his followers operated had become different from the Old Testament. There are still a people of God interacting with God in terms of first century Hebrew culture. Even in the New Testament, God's interaction was done with a group of people called Christian or the Church rather than Israel. Judaism and the Church of Jerusalem, and later the Greco-Roman civilization, greatly influenced the life of early Christian communities. With the teaching of Jesus Christ, there was a drastic change in social life, such as in their food habits. Their attitude towards other culture was changed. For example, Peter was a Hebrew Christian, though he was a Christian. The message had come to him in a cultural form of first century Hebrew culture, and he had responded to it in a Hebrew fashion. In Acts chapter 20, God approached Peter in a typically Hebrew way and asked him to take the message that had received and responded to it in a Hebrew culture to Cornelius, who was a Roman. Peter, like Jonah, also agreed to take God's message to an outsider. In New Testament, the system of polygamy disappeared, and also there was a new way of looking after the rights and needs of widows, an alternative way of handling barrenness. Changes of attitudes towards Gentile Christian. The experience of Peter and Paul forced the early church leader to call a gathering of the apostles and elders in Acts chapter 15 to make a decision with regard to Gentile converts and Hebrew culture. The Judaizer Christians were insistent that Hebrew culture prescribed the only proper form for human to respond to God. To them, there is no way of coming to Christ without being circumcised and converting to Hebrew culture. But in Acts chapter 15, the early church leaders were able to solve the issues and officially declared Gentiles does not need to become Jews to become a Christian. Therefore, Gentiles were accepted in the church, and then their attitude were changed in a positive way.